You're looking at what brought Professor Madeleine van Oppen to Australia.
Coral reefs have such beauty, they're just amazing, and they're really important for the marine environment because coral reefs are home to about 30% of marine species, so they're incredibly important in that sense.
In 1997, she took up a postdoctoral position at James Cook University. The following year, the world witnessed its first global mass coral bleaching event, another stark reminder of the consequences of climate change.
When you see the damage, that is very frightening.
Professor van Oppen started to investigate the relationship between corals and the tiny algae and bacteria that live within them, known as microbial symbionts. A relationship that we now know is vital to the coral's health and survival.
We also now understand that the microalgae that live in the coral tissues play an important role in the level of heat that the coral can cope with.
Coral bleaching occurs when intense heat waves cause corals to expel the algae living in their tissues.
The corals cannot live without these microalgae, so we often see high rates of mortality following these intense summer heat waves that cause coral bleaching.
But Professor van Oppen's research has shown it's possible to also harness those microalgae to help the corals cope better with heat.
So certain species of microalgae give the coral better protection against heat than other species. We're sort of playing with that. Can we make them more tolerant to heat by manipulating that relationship?
A question that has since paved the way to a whole new approach in coral restoration known as assisted evolution. The concept was first introduced in a paper Professor van Oppen published in 2015 with her colleague and renowned coral biologist, the late Ruth Gates.
We are accelerating adaptive processes, and those are natural processes that happen in the field. There's quite a bit of evidence that this might not happen fast enough if we don't help these processes a little bit. So we're basically speeding up adaptation.
In the labs at both the University of Melbourne and Australian Institute of Marine Science, where Professor van Oppen now works, she's seen promising results. In one experiment, her team subjected microalgae to increasing temperatures to improve their heat tolerance before reintroducing them back into the corals.
We showed that they increased coral heat tolerance, but without compromising coral growth. So we're very excited about that.
They've started small-scale field trials to see if those outcomes will also hold true in nature.
Restoring reefs with enhanced corals is going to be really important because if we restore with just the stock that is there, that has just bleached, then maybe the next heat wave we might lose it all.
But she says restoration efforts are only part of the solution.
There's a limit to what we can achieve, so the most important thing is that we deal with the emission of greenhouse gases and that we stabilize the climate.
A message she now carries forward as a fellow of the Australian Academy of Science.